Hi, welcome back to the garden. My name is Dawn. It's the weekend and we have a lot of work to do. We're going to be putting up our trellis systems. We have our tomatoes that we grow vertically, and then that's also with our pole beans, our snap peas, and especially cucumbers. Also, we have our trellis support systems that we're going to be putting up for our peppers, our flowers, anything that can flop over with the wind. We use horizontal netting. And then we also have cages. We're going to be putting our cages on our summer squash and our winter squash because I grow them vertically also. And then our determinate tomatoes also get grown in cages. So we'll be doing that and showing you how we put our systems up. And first, we're going to be putting these cucumbers in. I started these about 2.5 weeks ago, and they're all ready to go in. They have their first true leaves on there, nice root system. All right, so let's get to work. All right, so this is where the bed of cucumbers are going, right here. And Tom got it ready a couple weeks ago. He rototilled, put compost on, and then we put the plastic on there. And the plastic helps kill all the weeds, but now we're all ready to go. So it doesn't matter if it pours, we can still plant our cucumbers because it's nice and dry underneath. Soil is nice and dry. We'll get this off, and I plant my cucumbers in fabric, so I will show you that also. We'll take this off and put the fabric down. All right, Tom's gonna put some fertilizer down. So this is a fabric we use, and we reuse it year after year.
We don't have enough
More?
right there.
Okay. Is it straight? All right, we'll just put a couple staples in here until he puts the T-post in. All right, so we got our fabric down, and this is gonna be an 8-foot trellis, and the cucumbers just are amazing growing on this. And growing our vegetables vertically has saved so much space in the garden. We actually have a lot more harvest. I believe that we get so many more cucumbers because we can plant them a little closer together. The same with our tomatoes. We get so many tomatoes that for our indeterminate tomatoes and our pole beans and stuff like that. Everything's up in the air, so it's easy to harvest them. And yeah, so we'll plant the cucumbers and then we'll show you how we put the trellis system in. All right, so this bed's mostly gonna be the pickling cucumbers. The first one I'm doing is Cool Customer. And next one's gonna be Supremo. So the next one is Excelsior. And using our stand and plant planter makes it very quick. Yeah, I do a lot of pickling cucumbers. I do a lot of pickles and relish. And I like to make cucumber salad, and I use my pickling cucumbers for that too. On the end, I'm just putting a little bit more Supremo since I used up all my Excelsior. One row done. So then you just go in there, push a little dirt around them, firm them up. It's that easy. And then just like that, you have 50 cucumbers all planted. All right, so we have one more bed of cucumbers to plant, and that's gonna be a lot of my English cucumbers. I think they taste better than any cucumbers. And they're seedless, so they don't bother your stomach. Some people, if they eat cucumbers, their stomach gets upset. They're much milder to eat. And also I'm gonna do some slicers, and if I have any room left, I'll put the rest of my pickling cucumbers in there. So we'll get over to that bed. That one's all ready to go. So here's this bed right here. We'll get that planted now. These are my English cucumbers. These ones are so expensive. I'll write the name down in the on the screen. They're like $7, $8 for 5 seeds.
Yeah.
They are delicious. What do you mean? Yeah, really. But I also plant other ones, but these ones are special and they are awesome. So I'm going to do some straight now. I do have more English cucumbers, but I'll space them out, and that way I can tell which ones I planted. Make sure it's worth spending that much money on those seeds. So this one is a straight cucumber called Gateway. That's Telegraph. That's another English. I'll put 3 in there. Now I'm going to go to more of my slicers. This is called Straight 8. And I'm not going to put a lot in here. Just 3. Now I'm going to do a little bit more of the pickling cucumbers. This is again Cool Customer. This is one that has done well for me over the years. Supremo and the Excelsior are also very good. So this is another English cucumber called Pepinex, if I'm saying that right. They're not as expensive as the other ones, but they're still not cheap like regular pickling cucumbers. But they cost a lot more in a store. And whenever I have to buy a cucumber in a store, I will only buy English cucumbers because they are so good. There you have it, 2 beds of cucumbers. I just got to firm these up, and then we'll get on to putting our trellising up. All done. We're going to work on the outside of the garden. This is our 3 rows of plum tomatoes. So Tom just got some of the posts in, and now we're going to be putting the cages on. We'll show you how we do that. This one?
Yep.
Very good. All right, so on the post, we put the tomato cages and zip tie them on there. All right, Tom, we'll zip tie these 2 together. Are we doing a string now?
Yeah.
All right, so most of the cages are connected to these posts so they won't blow over in a wind, but these ones are not. So what we do is we take a string and we go from this post all the way down to the other end, and then these will be sturdy, and that way if we get big winds when they're big, they won't blow over, because we've had that happen in the past. We have the cages and then a big gust of wind comes and can knock them all over. All right, now Tom will tie this down.
Okay.
Now we tie the other end real tight. And then these tomato cages are very secure. We got 3 rows of the determinate tomato cages on. And like I said, we got the T-post, zip tied, and then we have this string for extra measure. And that way they can't blow over in big winds. And the other thing about having a string in the middle, that sometimes you have a weak tomato, so you can run a line from here and run it down and attach it to the tomato below to give it a little bit more support if it needs it. So we've been using this system for quite a few years. And it's done really nice for our determinate tomatoes. Now we're going to get on to putting our large trellis up for our cucumbers. That's a little more involved. Put our T-posts for larger things that are heavy. You tilt the T-post out. And this is a 2-person job with the larger ones. Okay, so that's the T-post. Next, we have to put the trellis on, which we reuse our trellis every year. So we put it in the back, and then when we need it, we just take pieces off. There's probably like 20 pieces of trellis on that fence right there. And then we also zip tie that to the post. I have 2 over.
Me too.
I'll leave mine here for a minute. All right, so that's how we trellis the flowers, and we're gonna do the same with the peppers. And it's horizontal, but we put these T-posts in, and then we keep putting layers of this netting. So this netting's here, the next one will probably go here, and then the top one will go here. And that will hold all the flowers to stay upright and not get knocked over with the winds and the rains. But that's what it looks like. We're going to do the same to this flower bed and also to the peppers. Same exact way. And then here's the other. So this is our vertical supports trellis for our tomatoes and cucumbers. We do the same thing. We put our post in for the cucumbers. We just have to put the netting. But this is what it is. This netting's from last year. So you see this is tight on the bottom. And because it's from last year, all we have to do is tighten this up. We just have to come over to here and put another zip tie, and that will tighten this up too. Since this is the only bed that didn't get moved. So that's our vertical supports for our, like I said, tomatoes, cucumbers, pole beans, snap peas. That's how we grow them vertically. So this is the next bed that we put the cages on. We'll do the same like we did the tomatoes. And that way our squashes, summer and winter, will grow vertically in those cages. And this is a trellis system for the snap peas, same as the tomatoes. You can see they're growing just past the first row of trellis. So we will put the second one on and we just attach them. The same with like the cages. We just use zip ties. And then at the end of the season, if we're changing this bed, we just cut the zip ties, take the trellis down and hang it on the fence over there and reuse it for the next year. So that was a look at how we put our trellis up. We do the vertical, we do the horizontal with the netting on there, and we also do the cages. And that's how we like to do it. We've been doing it for years, have had a lot of luck with all of them. And I want to thank you for watching the video, and I hope you come back and watch the garden grow. Bye-bye.